Action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Wisdom is seeing something in a non-habitual manner. The art of being wise is knowing what to overlook. We are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. A great many people think they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices. Act as if what you do makes a difference. The greatest discovery of any generation is that a human can alter his life by altering his attitude. Man can alter his life by altering his thinking. If you can change your mind, you can change your life. Human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the outer aspects of their lives. To change one's life, start immediately, do it flamboyantly, no exceptions. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Whenever two people meet, there are really 6 people present. There is each man as he sees himself, each man as the other person sees him, and each man as he really is. Be not afraid of life. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. The great use of life is to spend it for something that will outlast it. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Nothing is so fatiguing as the eternal hanging on of an uncompleted task. Whenever you're in conflict with someone, there is one factor that can make the difference between damaging your relationship and deepening it. That factor is attitude. Anything you may hold firmly in your imagination can be yours. Our view of the world is truly shaped by what we decide to hear. Begin to be now what you will be hereafter. Wherever you are is your friends who make your world. My experience is what I agree to attend to. Procrastination is attitude's natural assassin. There's nothing so fatiguing as an uncompleted task. Genius, in truth, means little more than the faculty of perceiving in an unhabitual way. If merely feeling good could decide, drunkenness would be the supremely valid human experience. There is no more miserable human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision. The aim of a college education is to teach you to know a good man when you see one. When you have to make a choice and don't make it, that is in itself a choice. Each of us literally chooses, by his way of attending to things, what sort of universe he shall appear to himself to inhabit. There are 2 lives, the natural and the spiritual, and we must lose the one before we can participate in the other. I am no lover of disorder and doubt as such, rather fear to lose truth by the pretension to possess it already wholly. A sense of humor is just common sense dancing. Age is a very high price to pay for maturity. I have to live today by what truth we can get today, and be ready tomorrow to call it falsehood. I don't sing because I'm happy because I sing. This life is worth living, we can say, since it is what we make it. As a rule, we disbelieve all the facts and theories for which we have no use. Philosophy is an unusually stubborn attempt to think clearly. A man with no philosophy in him is the most inauspicious and unprofitable of all possible social mates. Philosophy lives in words, but truth and fact well up into our lives in ways that exceed verbal formulation. To be a real philosopher, all that is necessary is to hate someone else's type of thinking. All our life, so far as it has definite form, but a mass of habits. The community stagnates without the impulse of the individual, the impulse dies away without the sympathy of the community. None of us are ever who we were yesterday. There is only one thing a philosopher can be relied upon to do, and that is to contradict other philosophers. There's nothing so absurd that if you repeat it often enough, people will believe it. Psychology is the science of mental life. I will act as if what I do makes a difference. Most people never run far enough on their first wind to find out they've got a second. A stream of ideal tendency embedded in the external structure of the world. Human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. The opposition between the men who have and the men who are is immemorial. Acceptance of what has happened is the first step to overcoming the consequences of any misfortune. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Pessimism leads to weakness, optimism to power. It is wrong, always, everywhere, and for everyone, to believe anything upon insufficient evidence. An idea, to be suggestive, must come to the individual with the force of revelation.